Hello and welcome to FPL Malvo. My name is Andy and I've got my team selection ahead of Game Week 28 for you today. I'm looking at making a defender transfer, so we'll also have a little look at the best defenders for the next game week and the few game weeks after that. Then we'll have a look at team selection, captaincy, all of those usual stuff. If you enjoy these videos and find them useful, then please subscribe to the channel and give it a like. But without further ado, let's jump straight into it. So game week 27, I finished on 78 points. Not too bad a game week, but it was actually a red arrow for me by about 9k, I think. I went up to 56,000, in part because I took a hit. Now, I think the hit is going to help me long term. I think, as I said on last week's, that I'd already done my transfer of Alvarez to Watkins. That paid off well. Watkins for his brace, 13 points. And I also brought in Ross Barkley for Richarlison. Now, I'd already decided at that point that I was going to free hit in 29, so I'm not bringing in Ross Barkley because he has a fixture that week. I bought him in mainly because of price and because of his double in the upcoming game week. I imagine that he will be on my bench most of the time, but importantly, he gives me a route to get Mo Salah in game week 30. I'll talk about that a bit more in the rest of the video, but yeah, that's part of the reason I bought Barkley is to free up that money. So if I take you through the team, the Arsenal defence getting a clean sheet, double Arsenal defence has been good for me, although they're scoring so many goals, so any of those attackers are good options as well. Odegaard alongside Saka, I think is great, but a punt on Kai Havertz or on Martinelli, I think equally works out well. If you want to go cheap, then Declan Rice keeps chipping in with the goals and assists as well. So yeah, there's options all over that team at the moment. Arsenal are the form team in the Premier League, I'd say. But yeah, double defence, 6 points apiece. Also, Virgil van Dijk getting a clean sheet for me, 6 points from him. Just the one for Branthwaite, but with Porro and Maguire both still out injured, I don't really have a lot of choice there. Onto the midfield, Gordon, he's so consistent at home. Another goal from him, 2 from Foden, man of the match performance. He was outstanding against United. He was outstanding first half. Like it was his chance that he created for Haaland with his little header down. Haaland's miss of the season. And then, yeah, two great goals. I've seen people talk about selling City assets. Their fixtures are really tough coming up. Obviously, they have now Arsenal and Liverpool in the next couple of games. But I think if you're going to own any, then Foden and Haaland are probably the best two, I would say. And Foden's played every single Premier League game this season. He's almost undroppable. I'm hoping he'll get a rest in the Champions League tonight. Apparently, he had a bit of a dead leg. But I'd be amazed if he didn't start next week against Liverpool. Saka came off at half-time. Apparently, it's just a little bit of illness, and I think probably a rest when Arsenal had already won that match at half-time comfortably against Sheffield United. Nothing from Barkley, just the 2-pointer, but I'm not really expecting a lot more, if I'm honest. Onto the strikers, a little bit disappointed in Solanke. I didn't see that game, but looking at the stats afterwards, like how Bournemouth managed to win it, really, it doesn't sound like Solanke had a lot of chances against Burnley. And obviously, I was delighted to see him start because he was an injured out beforehand. But yeah, I'm hoping for more from Bournemouth in the double, and more for Solanke because he's an obvious captaincy candidate. Watkins, as I said, did superbly. Haaland, just the one goal for a 6-pointer. I try not to be too disappointed when my captain gets points, if that makes sense. Like I think there were decent captaincy options this week, notably Saka and Watkins. People who went Saka, obviously, with him coming off at half-time, he only outscored Haaland by a point. Watkins would have been a better pick, but yeah, as long as my captain isn't blanking, I'm never too disappointed. So yeah, 78 points, slight red arrow, but I think it sets me up relatively well for the next few game weeks. So I still feel like I'm in a pretty decent place to attack the tail end of the season. So looking at my transfer plans, I mentioned that I was looking at getting Mo Salah in from game week 30. I have one transfer this week. I might as well use it because I can't roll that transfer because I'll be free hitting in 29. And if I'm going to do Mo Salah in, I need to make another couple of million in a transfer. Well, I think 1.5 million, something like that, to potentially be able to do Anthony Gordon to Mo Salah in one move. Another option that I'm considering is maybe getting rid of Garnacho or Barkley for Mo Salah instead and just taking a hit. But either way, I need to free up more money than I can just off that. And the one place looking at my team where I would look to do that is Virgil van Dijk. He's a good option. He pops up with the odd goal. He's in quite a good defence with Liverpool. But they've got Man City this week, and their run afterwards isn't incredibly easy. Brighton, the game week after, Brighton tend to score. Yeah, and it's the price more than anything else. I don't think he's worth 6.4 million. I would rather pay extra for, defenders who have really good attacking potential. Van Dijk gets the odd goal, but he's no Trent, he's no Trippier, he's no Robertson. So, yeah, he's the sacrificial lamb, I guess, in my defence. So I want to go through who I think are the best options. First of all, I'm going to start with Alfie Doughty. I'm not really considering him, but I did want to talk about him because I think he's a really popular asset. Now, the problem that I have with him is he has a double this week, which is Crystal Palace away and Bournemouth away. Now, they are good fixtures. Luton are a better team at home, but he's still a very good option for that game week. And if you're not looking at free hitting in 29, he's got Forest at home, which is another decent fixture for him. He's got decent attacking potential. Luton's main way of attacking is trying to get the ball wide and whipping in crosses into the box. And he's one of the main players doing that from that left wing back position. Now, there's a couple of things. First of all, I need a defender for the next sort of 5 game weeks. And looking at the fixtures, after those 3, and one of them doesn't count for me because I'm free hitting, they've got Spurs away, Arsenal away, Bournemouth at home, Man City away. They're pretty horrendous fixtures, those are. And I might need Alfie Doughty playing quite a lot of those because I'm going to have Pedro Porro and Maguire, who are not back from injury yet. And then I've got Branthwaite and Gabriel. And Gabriel's part of a double Arsenal defence. And quite often when they've got tougher fixtures, like the Man City fixture coming up, I don't mind starting one of them, but I don't usually like the double up. So, yeah, it's not a case of me bringing him in and benching him most weeks. I want to bring in a defender who's going to, be a genuine option to play every week for me. And those fixtures just aren't good enough. Adding into that is that Luton had a couple of injuries this week, and we actually saw him play as part of the back 3 for quite a stretch of the game and not getting forward on that left-hand side, putting in crosses. And he needs the assist because he isn't going to get that many clean sheet points. Luton have conceded goals in most games this season. Very few clean sheets. He's a very good option for this week, but I think if you're like me looking for the sort of mid to long term, then I don't think he's the best option going forward. The second one on my list that I've got is Dan Burn. Now, Dan Burn, I think the Newcastle defence is a difficult one to kind of justify. But again, for me, it's more a case of looking at the fixtures coming up and when I'm going to need them. Chelsea away up this week. I'd have to play him as well because I've got 2 defenders injured. Yeah, not the easiest fixture. But after that, they've got the blank in 29 and free hitting, doesn't matter. But they've got West Ham at home, Everton at home, and then Fulham away, the next 3 after that. I would be happy to play him in those games. I do have Dubravka as well, so there is the potential of the double up. I would have to double up this week because Raya can't play against his parent club, so Dubravka will be in goal for me. So yeah, that's not ideal, but I wouldn't have to double up most weeks because Ray starts for me every week anyway. So I think he's a decent option. I think if you look at the rest of the defence, he's the cheapest starting option. Trippier is obviously the best of them, but I'm trying to take money out of my team. And I don't think Trippier is worth the price at the moment because of Newcastle's lack of clean sheets. Trippier will still get the odd assist and that sort of thing. His attacking potential is good, but I think for his price, you need the clean sheets as well. Trippier went off injured. If Livramento is going to be in the team because Trippier's ruled out for a couple of months, then I think Livramento suddenly becomes the best option in that Newcastle defence. But I think without it, they're very much of a muchness. I'd go Dan Burn entirely on price. So yeah, an option. I don't absolutely love it because of how poor the Newcastle defence has been recently, but at least I wouldn't feel too worried about starting him most weeks with the fixtures that they've got coming up. And then next up, I have got Malo Gusto, who I think, I mean, side note from fantasy football, I think he's been really good this season for them in a pretty average Chelsea team. I think he's been a bit of a shining light. I actually don't think they've missed Reece James massively. He's young, he still gets exposed occasionally defensively, but his work rate down that right hand side has been excellent. He seems equally good when he plays left back. When James comes back, I think the form that Chilwell's been in this season, I could see Gusto playing left back in front of him and keeping his place. From a fantasy football point of view, his price is really the thing that attracts me to him. Only 4.2 million still. Like I say, I think he's pretty nailed. I've not heard any news of Reece James coming back anyway, but like I say, I think he could keep his place. Either way, he's got decent attacking potential. The Chelsea defence is average, really. You do have a chance of clean sheets. The fixtures aren't too bad. Newcastle at home, relatively difficult this week, but not as difficult as it was last season. But then they've got Burnley at home, Man United at home, and Sheffield United away, Everton at home. They're really good fixtures. The United one's the toughest of it, but yeah, I wouldn't mind playing him in any of those games. I think he's a really decent option. Yeah, there's nothing that's massively putting me off him apart from the opportunity to get another doubler. Now, I'd kind of had it in my head that Senesi I was going to bring in from Bournemouth this week. He's hurt his hamstring. We've had no official announcement, but the rumours are he's going to be out for up to 6 weeks. So he's really the only Bournemouth defender who has any sort of attacking potential. He's had a couple of goals. He gets involved off corners, that sort of thing. His centre-back partner, Zabarnyi, is not really shown that sort of attacking threat. So that is a shame because that would make this decision easier. And I'm a little bit worried about falling into the double game week trap where, yeah, I'd have him in for this week. He's got Sheffield United and Luton at home. I think there's a decent chance that Bournemouth keep a clean sheet in one of those games. You only need it to be a low scoring one where he's got the potential of, a couple of bonus points. And suddenly you're looking at a real decent score, like potentially double figures for a 4.4 million centre-back. But I always think the worry about that is that you're not just bringing him in for that game week. I've then got to hold him through. Now, the thing that's making me talk myself into this one is that their fixtures afterwards. So after I'll be free hitting in 29, in 30, they've got Everton at home. Then they've got Crystal Palace at home. Then they've got Luton away. So they've got 4 home fixtures in a row against 4 of the worst attacks in the league, really. And then they've got Luton away after that. I'm pretty happy to play him in all of those games, despite the fact that his ceiling is really, really low. Like, I think the most that you're likely to get is, maybe a 7-pointer. And I usually like bringing in players with more of an upside. I'd rather have somebody who I think is capable of getting 14-point hauls, even if they're not quite as consistent or the fixtures are slightly tougher. But yeah, I think there's a slight dearth of options in defenders at the moment. I think that's why I'm quite happy to try and take money out of my defense. it seems justifiable to spend it on players like Mo Salah instead. So yeah, I think getting somebody who's got some of the best fixtures in the league over the next sort of 5, yeah, it looks all right. He's absolutely nailed. I just sort of set and forget him in my team, really. And then, yeah, if Porro's back in fitness soon, then at least I can start, having a couple of choices and having a bench again. The reason I'm talking about the next sort of 5-6 game weeks is that is the point that I'm looking at wildcarding. It's not set in stone. It could easily change, but I'll probably do it just before game week 34, which is likely to be a game week that has blanks and doubles in it. Set myself up for 37 as well, which is likely to be another double game week, and also likely to be when I'll use my bench boost. So yeah, I ideally want to get through the next few fixtures without using my wildcard, so I can set myself up better. So yeah, those are the 2 most likely ones: Malo Gusto or Zabarnyi, with an outside punt of Dan Burn, if for some reason I managed to talk myself into that one. So here's how the team is shaping up for this week. Dubravka will be starting in goal. That's because David Reyes can't play against his parent club, Brentford, which I'd actually forgotten he was on loan at. So that's slightly annoying, but such is life. Yeah, Dubravka, let's hope for some save points, potentially a clean sheet. I think I'd probably settle for a couple of save points, if I'm honest. But yeah, moving on to the defence, Virgil van Dijk won't be there. I will be selling him. I've just got to decide on who. Gabriel will be playing against Brentford. Hope of a clean sheet there. He's obviously had a few attacking returns this season as well, so fingers crossed. And then Branthwaite against Manchester United. Not a perfect fixture for me, if I'm honest, but unless I get news of Pedro Porro is definitely in contention to start, which I don't think I will. Then yeah, it'll be Branthwaite who's playing. The midfield, Gordon against Chelsea. Gordon's scored a massive percentage of his points at home, so I'm less confident of him away from home, but he has been on a decent scoring run recently, so let's see on that one. Foden, Liverpool away. At one point, I genuinely considered benching Foden, and then decided that was absolute madness. Yeah, it's probably the toughest fixture you can have, but he's been in such great form recently. I can't do it to myself. I can easily see him getting a goal or an assist in that one. Probably not a big haul, but yeah, anything we get, I'll be happy with. Saka at the moment with the vice captaincy against Brentford. And then the doubler in Ross Barkley, Crystal Palace away, Bournemouth away. It would be lovely just to get something from Barkley in those matches. 1 assist, 2 starts. It could potentially rack up to like a 10-pointer. Yeah, I don't know. I don't think there's many options that you really want to own from the double game week. I don't think there's any great options. I've heard a lot of talk about like Morris from Luton. I might get proved wrong, but I think it's a bit of a potential trap of a double this. Barkley, I have because I brought him up last week because I wanted to take the money out of my team. But yeah, I have low expectations, if I'm honest, from him. I have higher expectations for Dominic Solanke. He's going to get my captaincy. I think I can't do it. I can't not captain a double game week player in a double game week. So as tempting as it is to put the captaincy on Saka, who's been so good recently, Dominic Solanke's been pretty great all season, even if he's been quiet the last couple of games. I don't think we're seeing a sudden drop off. I think he will get goals in those matches and be the best captaincy option. Alongside Watkins and Haaland, Tottenham and Liverpool, respectively, for them. That Tottenham game in particular, I think Watkins could do really well in. Tottenham plays such a high line. He loves running in behind. I can see it just being a high scoring game. I'm not saying Villa will win it. I just think that Watkins could be in the points in that one. And Haaland, yeah, he's due a goal against Liverpool, I feel. I don't think he's done particularly well when we played them in the past. So, yeah, not confident enough to put the captaincy on him, but still happy to hold him. I've seen some people talking about selling him for City's next few fixtures. I've never really considered that, to be honest. He'll be staying in my team. It means that Garnacho stays on bench as the only available bench player for me. So fingers crossed, I won't need him. So yeah, that's my team selection video ahead of Game Week 28. If you found it useful or you're just enjoying these videos, then please give it a like and subscribe to the channel. Let me know in the comments what you think of my potential defender change, or is it worth me just bringing in who I think the best defender is? I haven't really considered getting rid of, say, Pedro Porro instead of getting rid of Van Dijk and then just taking a hit to try and get Salah in next week. Maybe I should have a look at that. But yeah, let me know in the comments what you think. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you again on another video.